One of the Pharisees invited Jesus to eat with him. Jesus went to the Pharisee's house and was eating at the table. A woman who lived a sinful life in that city found out that Jesus was eating
at the Pharisee's house. So she took a bottle of perfume and knelt at his feet. She was crying and washed his feet with her tears.
Then she dried his feet with her hair, kissed them over and over again, and poured the perfume on them.
I honestly admire the pure desperation of this woman to crash a dinner party, and not just any dinner party, but a dinner party at a Pharisee's house. These people were very highly esteemed in their culture.
This woman just reached a point where she didn't care what people thought about her anymore, and wasn't willing to let her brokenness take second place to anybody else's pride or anything else that was going on. I think she knew what she had to do to get help, and she went for it.
They probably laughed at her for what she did, but I don't think she really cared. She wasn't there to impress any of them. And it's like in our lives, we shouldn't care what other people think. You know, the most important thing is pleasing God. And I think that that's all she probably cared about, and she didn't want to see any of them. She just wanted to see Jesus.
I think that the closer we are to Jesus, it's going to be more of our heart to just worship him and to throw all of our inhibitions to the side and not worry about pretense and what's going on around us, and just focus completely on him.
I definitely have had a moment I vividly remember where I just kind of came to a place where I felt like I had this relationship with God, and it was like years. I grew up in church, but there was years and years of going to church and, but not being close to God, not really, studying my word, praying like I should, not even really acknowledging, God in my life. It was just like, yeah, I'm a Christian. That's all it was, though. And it was just dead. I remember just coming to a place where I finally realized that, a few years back, and it was just constant weeping, and I was just broken, crying out to God, and apologizing for like my lack of heart in my relationship with God. And but it was an amazing time, and looking back on it, I'm really glad that happened, because it really wakened me up.
That's really, I think, true brokenness, is the awareness of just how awful life can be without hope, without Jesus. The Pharisee who had invited Jesus saw this and thought,
if this man really were a prophet, he would know what sort of woman is touching him.
She is a sinner.
Simon the Pharisee, I think, was a little aggravated that this nobody, that this prostitute would come into his house and would fall at the feet of Jesus and make this spectacle. He thought that everything that he knew and everything that this religion that he was a part of stood for made him somehow higher than this woman. And in his heart and his mind, he placed himself above her and was not willing to see that this woman was doing something that was beautiful, that was probably really far above anything that he had ever done in his lifetime.
He took things very literal and by the book, probably, and he's one of those guys that had to always pretend that he had it together.
Part of the song in the second verse actually says, "Burn away my pride and bring me to my weakness."
Burn away the pride, bring me to my weakness.
Let that pride that we have, that wall that we have that keeps us from other people and keeps us from God, to literally just fall away and to allow ourselves to be open so that we can be free to be loved and be free to love like God wants us to.